State your name and address for the record, please. Lee Wallace. I reside at Detroit, Michigan. By whom are you employed? I am employed by the state of Michigan as a trooper. Are you assigned to any particular section? Assigned to the intelligence section, narcotic unit. How long have you been with the intelligence section? Almost 2 years now. Did you, during the course of your duties, have an opportunity to come to Lansing, Michigan on June 28th of last year? Yes, sir, I did. On that date, did you have occasion to come in contact with anyone you see in the courtroom? Yes, sir, I came in contact with the defendant. Will you point him out? He is seated at the table there with the dark blue sweater. Do you know what his name is? Yes, sir, I believe it is George Green. How was it that you had an opportunity to come in contact with Mr. Green? I was taken to a residence at 1218 North Madison and was introduced to the defendant. Who was this that introduced you to the defendant? A subject by the name of Jim White. Where were you introduced to him, inside or outside of the house? It was outside of the front porch. Were there any other people there on the front porch? There was a subject by the name of Walter Brown and another male subject that I was not introduced to. Did you have some conversation with Mr. Green on the front porch there? Yes, sir, I did. Incidentally, what time was it when you went to that house on North Hempstead? Approximately 7:45 p.m. What was the nature of your conversation with Mr. Brown? I talked to Mr. Green about purchasing a quantity of heroin. Did you use the words heroin? No, sir. I used the word Jones, a slang term. It is used to mean heroin. In your work as part of the intelligence unit, do you wear a uniform? No, sir. All undercover. How were you dressed that day? I believe on that day I had on a pair of Levi's, a T-shirt, and a Levi jacket. When you talked to Mr. Green about buying some heroin, did you tell him how much you wanted to buy? I asked him to get me 5 $10 packets. He stated he believed he could get me 10 $5 packets. Did you actually say $10 packets? I believe I asked for 5 dime bags. He said he couldn't get dime bags, but thought he could get the same quantity of nickel bags. A dime bag would be a $10 purchase? Yes, sir. And a nickel bag would be a $5 purchase? Yes, sir. What did you say when he told you he could get nickel bags? I told him that would be fine. I gave him $50, 2 20s, and 1 10. What did he do after that? He left shortly thereafter, and I didn't see him until 8:40 p.m. Where did you see him then? At the same address. What did you do during the time he was gone? I stayed on the porch and talked to this other subject there. We then drove around the block once and came back. Mr. Green returned about 20 minutes to 10? Yes. Do you know the defendant sitting there? Yes. How long do you know him? A couple of years. Did you see Louis O'Brien before April 12, 1974? Yes. Where did you see him? In a house on Jefferson Avenue. Whose house was it? It was David Jones's house. How long do you know David Jones? Oh, for a couple of years. Was there a discussion between you and Mr. O'Brien at that time about any supermarket at 92 Main Avenue? There was. Tell us in your own words what the conversation was that you had and who said what. I don't remember. I can't remember. Do you remember what was said about 92 Main Avenue? Yes. What was said? We were discussing the layout of the place and how many people worked in there, and it would be best to go and look it over. What was the purpose of your surveying it? We were going to rob it. Did there come a time that you and O'Brien met after this appointment in Jones's house that you told us about? No. Did you see him April 12, 1974? I did. Where did you see him? Downstairs on Main Avenue. Who, if anybody else, was there? Me, O'Brien, and Jones. Tell us what happened. By the way, what time in the morning did you meet, if you recall? 7:30. What happened after that you recall seeing with your own eyes? I went into the store to find out how many people were in there. After casing the place, I bought some orange juice and a newspaper and went back upstairs. I came back down. Jones was coming out of the store. He had been shot in the leg. Did you see O'Brien? Not until after he came out of the store. Did you see him exit the store? Yes, I did. Did you see a weapon? All he had was a bag. He had a bag? Yes. Anything else in his hands? No, I didn't see nothing else. What else of a package was it? A regular paper receptacle. Were you there when O'Brien and Jones went into the store? I was upstairs. Did you see O'Brien go into the store? The last time I seen him was when he came out of the store. You went into the store and bought something, juice and a paper. Then what? He left. I told him how many people were in the supermarket. In other words, you met them on the way out. They piled into the car. Where? On the corner. Whom did you talk to? I talked to Jones and O'Brien. Was there any discussion about a weapon by Jones or O'Brien? No talk. How many people were in the supermarket? 2 customers. Anyone else? And the owner. Did you know the proprietor? No, sir. What did you do with the juice and the paper? I went to my apartment. Where? Across the street. At what address? 67 Main Avenue. What floor? 21st floor. You took the elevator upstairs? Yes. Then came downstairs? Yes. What time was that? After 8. Where did you go when you came out of there? I peered in the car. Was anybody there? Yes. Then where did you proceed? I slouched around at the corner. How far is the corner from the supermarket entrance? I think about 7 doors away from the exit. Then what occurred? I kept the supermarket front under surveillance. What else were you doing? Looking out for the police. So you were playing lookout, true? Yes. Did you hear any shots fired? No. Did there come a time when you saw Jones and O'Brien? I did. Whom did you see first? Jones. What was he doing? He was limping. Where was he coming from? From the supermarket. The supermarket? Yes, right, sir. You say he was limping? Limping. What else did you see? He had a blood stain on the knee part of his trousers. Was he carrying anything on his hands? He was empty-handed as far as I saw. Was he running? He was, like hobbling along. In what direction was he limping? Towards me. How soon after you saw David Jones did you see Lou O'Brien? About 10 to 15 minutes. What was he doing? He had a bag. What was in the bag? Silver coins. You saw that? I saw that. Did he have any bills? Did he have any ones, fives, tens? Not those, no. Have you told us everything in your remembrance? Just about. With respect to this robbery, did you expect to receive a share of the loot? No. There was no agreement to that end? No. What did you do with the bleeding Mr. Jones? I took him to the cab back to his house. Did you have a wagon on you? I did not. Did you see guns or knives or switchblades? Well, I saw a .22. Who had it? O'Brien had it. Where? Inside his belt, on the inside of his hip. When did you see that? April 12th. Before they came out of the supermarket? Before. How soon before? Before I went upstairs. You ultimately pleaded guilty to a homicide, that is, manslaughter in the first degree? That is correct. At that time, did Judge Jenkins ask you certain questions about your participation in the case? He did, yes. At that time, did the judge ask you if you were supposed to get a cut of the robbery proceeds? I told him I was expecting something. You told him what? It wasn't mandatory that I get it. Did you say that it was not mandatory? No.
How fast was that?
That was,
You don't know?
I'm trying to figure it out. 210.
Sounds about right. My software says 214.
Yeah.